So the question that I'm going to drive into a little bit more is, today was I the leader I would want? That's really ultimately a great reflective question. And as I said, we'll get into it in a bit more detail. But that is the formulation for my thoughts with regard to leadership as I respond to emergencies and continue to as a father, right? I'm a single dad, I've got a 10-year-old dude, fantastic guy. And so it really impacts my ability to parent effectively and so on and so forth. All right, so here's a great question. Why should anyone follow you? Believe it or not, people choose to follow you. And whether it's a conscious decision on their part or subconscious, there is some sort of a decision point met with all of your followers. And now, I'm not going to be using the word followers a ton, and I'll talk about why shortly, but essentially, let's take a look at the 3 broad reasons that people follow us as leaders. And there's 2 or 3 others, but these are ones I think that are particularly pertinent to us in search and rescue and public safety in general. Position power. Does anyone know what position power is, or position influence?
Something higher up than you.
The guy in the white helmet.
Right, okay, good. So why do you listen to the person in the white helmet?
He's got a white helmet.
He's got the white helmet, exactly. Yeah, and hey, this is not rocket science, folks. These are not trick questions. Although I'd like something a little deeper than he's got the white helmet. No, I'm just kidding. Well, and what's interesting is there can be another white helmet of a person that you don't even know. But what do? They've got the white helmet. And that is a very good example of position power, where I will follow you, I will listen to you because of the number of stripes on your shirt, the white helmet, the position in an organization, that sort of thing. All right. Now, within position, there's also their ability to discipline you, for example. So it's another source of power, but in broad terms, it's position power. All right. So the next, if we move along the spectrum, we get into what we call expert power. What would be an example of expert power in search and rescue, for example?
Doctor versus a woofer.
Pardon me?
Like a physician versus a wilderness person.
Right, exactly. Okay, so who are you naturally going to listen to, the physician or the woofer? Well, I guess it depends. Depends on the context, right? Jeez, yeah. We don't have any docs in here, do we? Okay, well then you get it. Okay. So, what about a mountain rescue? Are you not the expert, the subject matter expert when you arrive on scene? Right? So that's a good example where even the sheriff or the deputy or RCMP member, wherever you're at, they are in charge, but they will often, depending on the relationship, but they'll defer. Will they not? They'll say, oh, good, you guys are here. What do you need? For example, that's the effective leadership piece versus, hey, the experts are here and I'm going to tell them exactly what they need to do. It's like, how does that work? But that's a really good example. Or say if you're with the fire department, hazmat is another example where a hazmat crew shows up. They are now the subject matter experts. So in search and rescue, and mountain rescue in particular, you are the subject matter expert, so you have a certain measure of power that comes with that, or influence. All right, perfect. The one to the far right, we call that respect power. Now I want to go through a very quick exercise. Just do it in your head to start. Think about your own lives and who comes to mind when I say the word great leader. Now that could be somebody within your personal life, that could be somebody politically, it could be somebody militarily, economically, whatever. So just think about that for a second. Great leader. All right. So now, would anyone care to say who their choice was? Just throw your hand up. Anyone come up with a great leader? Yeah.
Well, I work for the government, and I've been in government for 18 years, I have a variety of bosses. So I do have a commanding officer who I thought is really good at morale and activism.
Okay, so somebody specific came into mind. Okay, good, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a former field director of our team that was very good at the technical aspect, but was also very good at dealing with the staff problems that there always are on a search and rescue.
Now, when you say good at dealing with people, what would be an example of that? Because you know what? My way or the highway is a good way of dealing with people, right? It's right, exactly. It's effective. Okay, so define what that looks like.
Just have the ability to take a difficult situation when somebody did something wrong, against protocol, maybe dangerous, and get it straightened out without getting all controversial and pissy about it.
Yeah. I sure like us SAR people, right? We're pretty straight shooters, right? I like that. Yeah, without being pissy about it. I like that. That's good. But, and that's good. I like that. I appreciate that. Yes.
To me, a great leader is someone who has the ability to express in words, they're very articulate. They somehow have the ability to find the right words that explain what they are trying to do or what they want you to do or the vision or whatever it is. Their ability to express feelings and concepts and I had a good English teacher, however you want to say it. They were able to speak. So
really a good communicator. Right? And that's not just verbal, but and I think too, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's probably somebody that's also, their behavior is congruent with what they talk about as well. So, which is a big part of, it's one thing to talk a great deal. Yeah, hey, we got to follow protocol and so on and so forth, and then backdoor everything like that, right? So, yeah, that's a good example.
That's the connection of respect. If I see their life match with what they say, then that's what.
Exactly, totally. Because we don't respect people that say one thing and do something else. Yeah, absolutely correct. I agree 100%. Any other examples? Any actual names? Yeah.
No actual names.
Okay.
But I think that respect piece, we respect people who respect us. So the leader who can respect both the team icon on his team and the newbie on his team, and not humiliate anybody who made a mistake, but actually be in the role of teaching and leading, not beating down.
I agree 100%. In fact, we will talk about that specific issue about giving respect, taking respect, and all the rest of it. Yeah, good. Thank you. Yourself?
Oh, I was just going to comment on attributes of a leader, and I think a good leader is someone, amongst many things, but they can recognize individuals' areas of strengths and put them in a position where they can be exploited.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and conversely, recognize the weakness side and don't put them in position, like set them up for success and not failure, right? And that comes back to knowing your people. Absolutely, and very, very good examples. So out of the three, position, expert, and respect, what do you think is the most powerful source of influence for a leader? Respect. Would we agree? Yeah. All right. And the reason for that is because that is now, the position is in our head. Like that is a hierarchy. But when we talk about respect, we start talking about values now. We start talking about how they treat me. How do they treat others? And if I respect you, I will go through the wall for you. But I'll be honest, if I don't respect you, I am doing the bare minimum because I recognize your position. You got the white hat, white helmet, I'll do what I need to do. But if somebody shows up on scene, a senior person, and I have a huge amount of respect for them, I will absolutely defend them to the ends of the earth, and I will protect them. I will do the job I will solve problems that they don't even know they had, for example. And that's that respect power. Is respect power or respect influence easy to get? No, it's not, is it?
Or retain.
Therein lies the rub. Absolutely. Right? Balance. Exactly. Position's kind of arbitrary. That's pretty easy. I literally put on the white helmet and I've got position influence. Respect, wow, that is so much more difficult to get. And it's incredibly easy to lose. And again, therein lies the leadership challenge. So we have to be very deliberate with our leadership, even during crisis. What we say matters. How we say it matters. All these things, and we'll talk a lot about that. So essentially, when we hear a great leader, it's somebody that probably comes to mind because we respect them. So think about that. And every behavior that we exhibit really either contributes to respect or it actually takes it away. That it's kind of a binary thing in terms of that. Think about that. From a leadership perspective, am what I'm doing, am what I'm saying, is that contributing to the respect of the team, or is it taking it away? Because we've just heard that respect power is the hardest to get. It's the most powerful, but it's the easiest to lose. Yeah, and now here's the interesting thing. If I have the bank account and it's full up, and we recognize that you have to take some out, okay, that's part of leadership too. You know, we're not in leadership to be everyone's best friend. Unfortunately, you have to make some tough decisions. But if you put enough deposit in, people recognize, hey, you know what? That's a tough decision, but I still respect that person. But you're absolutely correct. You're constantly doing that. And here's the other part that's really, it's a big challenge in leadership, is everybody views respect differently. Everyone has slightly different values. So what you do for one person may not align with somebody else. That's a potential as well. But I really like that analogy. It's like that bank account. You're putting it in, and if you start taking out more than you're putting in, you're going to run out. You're going to run deficit awfully quick, right? Okay. I was going to make an American government joke about deficits, but I won't. Which I think I just did. Don, exit now. Get the car around here. All right. Don't be pissy. All right. Don't get pissy with me. All right. So